Good morning everyone, it's Friday the 25th of October and I'm about to do your weekend reading. So I've pulled out the Before Tarot here to use, which was beautifully gifted to me, and I'm going to use that for the reading today. I'll pull the sleeves up so we can get into it. Okay. I have your monthlies done. I'll try and put those up tonight for the month of November, so keep an eye out for them. And then of course your dailies I'll get done tomorrow. Your dailies, your weeklies I'll get done on the weekend. Okay, so I said I'm using the Before Tarot. A little reminder of dates. I'm in Merriweather this Sunday if you're down near or around Newcastle area. And just check with me. I've got Bathurst, Goulburn and Orange still on my radar. And then we'll have a nice quiet month. It sort of goes very quiet between December and January, and I've made the conscious decision, because I'm starting my TV channel up, that I will do less fairs next year. Okay. Beautiful. So we have the Five of Pentacles coming out first. Now the Five of Pentacles can be a feeling of being left out in the cold, a feeling of sadness. I guess in this one it's a little different because you don't see any people, but generally you see two people waiting around outside and the light's on, but they choose to stay out in the cold. I guess the feeling with this is that maybe, you know, you're feeling stuck in a situation and not seeing any answers, and probably sort of getting a little stuck in the sadness of it rather than moving forward and looking for opportunities. But that's what the Five of Pentacles is about. We do have the Four of Cups behind that. So it's very possible here that you've either, I was going to say knocked back a relationship, walked away from a relationship, decided you didn't want a relationship, and even though that's felt sad or wrong, you may have made that choice because the relationship wasn't serving you the way it should have done. Maybe you were dealing with someone who wasn't putting enough into the relationship. Okay, because there is an equal give and take in relationships. And, you know, when you're investing in something or someone, anything, you want to see something back for that. Even if it's just gratefulness, there's always a return emotionally as well as tangibly. So this is about something that you've been dealing with that is not giving back to you, so you've walked away from it. There is a decision to be made though. So you could have walked away from something that you're now deciding, yeah, okay, you could have walked away from a third-party relationship here. You could have walked away from a relationship where someone else was involved. I'm doing more cards because there's a whole story here as well. Could have been with someone who was a king, who came up as a King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sag, but it can be someone who just takes on those elements. The King of Wands is a very attractive man, or attractive to you. He's very passionate, he's very driven, and obviously you have strong feelings for him. But I feel that in this situation, you've obviously had some sort of connection to someone who's tied into something else. As I said, could be third party, could have been a married person, could have definitely been someone who was being held back by maybe family obligations or commitments. And what's happening here is you've chosen to walk away because you were obviously not getting back what you were putting into that relationship. Sorry, my alarm's going off here and it's going to drive me bonkers if I don't turn it off. And you've obviously walked away from that situation because it hasn't been giving you back. Can't invest in something that's not giving you back. Okay, so I have the King of Swords here. So now someone wants to speak their truth. If you were in this situation with this person, it could be that they're taking on the energy now of the King of Swords to come back in to speak to you. This King of Swords, look, in some of these cards, his sword is held in, it's in the ground, but in this one, the universe is giving him a new sword here and he's taking it. So it's like he's seeing an opportunity now to speak up and say something. Okay, and then we have the Tower. So the Tower comes in to break down old structures. It's about having insight into how you've been doing things and how you could be doing things differently. The Tower is, I mean, it can be a physical thing. Sometimes it can mean, you know, that you do lose a job, or you have to move, or a relationship breaks down. It can be that powerful. But a lot of the time the Tower just talks about breaking down the old structures in order to rebuild new ones, to build firm foundations. Your foundations weren't strong enough. Okay, you could also be dealing with a water sign, but I would say this means that this person is now much more, and again with the cup coming out of the cloud here, so very divinely guided, this one. There is a feeling here that this person is really in touch with their feelings. Perhaps they were denying their feelings before. Maybe they closed themselves off because they didn't want to be in touch with those feelings, but now they're coming forward with those as well. Okay, so this could go backwards and forwards, this reading. I could be reading the other person. I could be reading for the watcher or the viewer, but this is very much being tied in your thoughts and unable to understand which way to go. So this sort of situation here may sort of put you in a position where you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and anxious about your emotions. Especially if someone's come back after a period of time where perhaps you've walked away from something and now they're disclosing how they're feeling. You can sort of understand the Tower and this anxiety here. Okay, so I have a Page of Wands coming out. So I feel like this is very, like it's going to happen very soon. This Page of Wands is a message of passion. I feel like someone's contacting you after a period of perhaps no contact, or it could be for some of you a long time, because it feels like there's been a big hiatus here. Okay, and then there's the Victory card, so that's very nice. Two of Wands, so looking towards the future to bring in, with this one, the future looks very different on this one actually to what the traditional tarot does. This is a person looking out towards the future, but there's another person in the picture with them. So it implies that they're moving forward with someone else here. Okay, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this offer is real. It's tangible. Someone's offering you something right this time. Perhaps they did before, but weren't prepared to make the moves. And the Three of Pentacles, which shows that you're going to work on something new here. And then we have the card of the Lovers. So that's a really nice finish, isn't it? Just having a look why the woman is laying down here. It's quite interesting. Oh, he's helping her up. Ah, okay. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So the guy on this card is helping the woman up. She's laying on the ground. And he's put a hand out to help her up. So that's really interesting, the way that views. Okay. So we have you feeling left out in the cold. Possibly you knocked back some sort of offer or relationship from someone because they weren't investing what you were. There appears to be some sort of decision now around a three-party relationship, possibly dealing with a King of Wands here. The Leo card is, the Leo on this card is very evident. Someone's gone through here a period of transformation. They've had an awakening without any doubt at all. Maybe the Tower in this is just the surprise of them coming back. Maybe you've realised that the manifestation has brought them back to you. But there appears to be someone here who's now willing to talk and share their emotions. I feel that you're very anxious here. Maybe some of you are already moved on. Maybe some of you don't want this anymore. There seems to be this very detached feeling here. Maybe you don't trust this person. But there does seem to be this detachment. But I see the Six of Wands and the Lovers card and the offer from the Knight of Pentacles. And I think this time is a very different situation to what it was last time. There's definitely this feeling here that somebody wants to share their world with you. They want to move forward with you on a new path and share their life with you. So there's been a lot of thought and a lot of energy gone into this. This person is truly in love with you here, but I feel that they were having difficulty walking away from something or making a decision to move forward. And now they're able to do that. They really want to work on a future with you here. So they're very committed to whatever this is. Definitely this fantastic feeling of elation and joy, but also this feeling of you know, reluctance, anticipation and fear. So it seems to me that the Tower may signify emotionally this may be a very difficult situation, because you are not sure whether you want to move forward anymore. You're not sure whether you want to play games with this person anymore. So it's sort of like sending you into a bit of a spiral. But I think there's also this feeling here that you knew that they'd come back and then they've surfaced. So wow, like you just, that's really knocked you off your feet there as well. So I'm not quite sure what it is for you. Okay, so I just want to put an extra card on. The Lover's card, of course, explains that the two of you are together, but it also talks about choice. And when I see choice, I think you can't always tell which way you're going to go, but what the universe has done here is sent me in the High Priestess. So I want to say to you, this is your choice of which way you go here. So you may think that you want to take somebody back. Even when I'm talking here, you might be like, oh yeah, can't wait till they come back in. But there's this feeling here that you're not really sure anymore whether they're the right person for you, whether you want to move forward, whether you even trust the situation, or whether you've grown and moved away from it. But it's not about that. This information is about you understanding about manifestation and how you can bring things in by manifesting. Manifestation is not going over things all the time in your own head, living your life waiting. Those things aren't manifestation. This is about now you've forgotten, you've let go, and you probably aren't even really that invested in this situation anymore. And that's when it will come back in, once you've released the energy. So what we have here is the High Priestess, which says to me, the universe is saying here, in this situation, make sure you use your intuition. Don't rely on what's happening. Don't get involved in the emotion. Stand back, as I always say, be the observer, and learn to sit with your gut feeling, because this is about your intuition. This choice relies on you being able to choose what you want. Now, for some of you, I have to say here, you could have already moved on. The third party situation could be you. You could have met someone new. You could be in another relationship. This is your choice here of which way to go. But you need to make the choice and the decision based in what you want. This is your choice. Well, very interesting. We have the card of mending coming out for your oracle card. So mending is the card of 52. Okay, so the essential meaning here is forgiveness, making amends, and healing after arguments. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal, the pain, the memories, the echoes and resentments, or the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. It's really interesting, isn't it? The relationship meaning here says you've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. I always think, you know, people sort of think forgiveness is about forgiving the other person, but it isn't. It's about releasing that pain from yourself. So for some unknown reason, we feel, or we've been taught, that forgiveness is about letting the other person off. And it's not about that at all. It's being able to release that hurt and that anger and that upset. And if you're still hanging on to that, then you haven't forgiven the other person. So there's a very, very good lesson in here. But definitely a lesson around being able to release and let go. So there's your reading. Thanks, everyone.